Hello, and welcome to part 2 of our weekly video chat with our national TV critics from coast to coast. Joining me, Mark DeWitziak, the TV critic at the Cleveland Plain Dealer and Cleveland.com this week, are Vicki Hyman of New Jersey Star-Ledger and NJ.com, and Dave Walker of the New Orleans Time-Picayune and NOLA.com. Hi, guys.
Hey, how you
Good
doing?
Good, good. Over the next week, we have 5 comedies starting on the traditional networks. The networks are fielding 9 new comedies this fall. 5 of them are coming in. We have Selfie and Manhattan Love Story on ABC Tuesday night, Bad Judge and A to Z on NBC Thursday night. Vicki's already shaking her head. And we have Mulaney on Fox premiering Sunday night. Now, what I wanted to set this up with this week, guys, is this. It has been a long time since a network introduced a show which wowed the critics, rocked the Emmys, and just roared up the ratings. We keep looking for the next Seinfeld, the next Frasier, the next Friends. It has been 7 years since The Big Bang Theory premiered. It has been 6 years since Modern Family and The Middle premiered. And since then, it seems like the model has broken, a model which dominated television throughout the 80s and 90s. What's gone wrong? Are we ever going to see another Seinfeld? You know, is this model broken beyond repair? Vicki, let's start with you. What do you think?
I'm really wondering whether the networks are just afraid to take chances anymore, because all of those shows you mentioned were risky in their own ways. Modern Family was, very unconventional family. It was filmed, not taped before a live audience. They were all risky, and the problem with all the shows that are coming out now is that they're just so incredibly bland. They're also not very funny. There were more laughs in, I think, 15 minutes of Fargo this year than there were in all, 4 of the sitcoms I watched over the weekend, in all of their pilots. I thought that one of the exceptions so far, which we discussed last week, was Blackish, which had 3 things that, sitcoms need. You have to have a point of view. You have to have sort of a sense of currency. Why is it on my television right now? And you have to have the laughs. And I know with the pilots, it's hard to set up a premise and your cast of characters in 22 minutes, but between, A to Z, Selfie, Manhattan Love Story, Bad Judge, there was only one straight up belly laugh, and that was in the post-credit moments of A to Z that was completely related to the substance of the pilot.
Blackish is the only one that stands out, isn't it? It's the only one that of the ones that seems to be about anything and seems to have any promise at all. Dave, what do you think?
Well, I think the context here is really interesting because, and especially when you mentioned both Blackish and Fargo, it's 30th anniversary of the premiere of The Cosby Show, which was about something like Blackish is shooting for. And I love that Vicki mentioned Fargo, because I think one of the problems is that some dramas have kind of taken a lot of the comedic heat from broadcast network comedies. There's also incredible cable competition. There's a diversity of comedies that are out there. I think the Cosby reference in regards to Blackish is important because that's a reminder that these are cyclical. There was a huge industry-wide pronouncement that the comedy is dead days before the Cosby Show premiered. The question is, are any of these, including Blackish, of this fall's crop of comedies, something we'll be watching 30 years from now, 20 years from now, as we're still watching Friends? Or for that matter, this is the 50th anniversary fall for Gilligan's Island, Bewitched, The Munsters, Addams Family. I don't think we've got a Munsters or even a Gilligan's Island in this group, I'm afraid.
Well, I think it's interesting that we're talking about the new Seinfeld when Mulaney on Fox is trying to be the new Seinfeld. And it's painful. It's painful to watch them try to replicate that vibe. And, I've been trying to think about this too, is what has gone wrong with this model? And I think the answer is everything has gone wrong. They broke the mentoring system where writers used to spend years learning their craft from established producers. Now hot writers get deals right away. I think the cable competition, you have seen shows grab the edgy ground like Louis in cable. Some of the dramas are funnier than so some of the best comedy writers aren't writing for comedies. And I think you've got this now. What makes this almost harder and harder to get a new Big Bang Theory is that the very audience that the networks are running after the hardest now, younger viewers, aren't watching network television. They're running away from networks as fast as the networks are running after them. And so the IQ level is you can almost watch it drop. And you can almost see it drop over the last 15 years as they've run after these younger and younger viewers. Meanwhile, older viewers who are loyal to this form don't feel engaged by these shows. So it's almost put this form on a path of self-destruction. It's not that you can't still have a Big Bang Theory, you can't have a Modern Family, but I think it's made it tougher and tougher. Any thoughts, guys?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing you point out about older viewers not being engaged, because there's even competition from a niche network like TV Land, which is creating sitcoms that are supposed to look like the older sitcoms that older viewers like, Hot in Cleveland and The X's and shows like that. And it just doesn't seem like there's all that much viewership available for the broadcast network shows. I think also a problem is that viewers who might be interested in engaging in a show have been burned so many times before by impatient networks pulling shows that for whatever reason didn't start strong out of the box. I think the TV viewers today are lucky that that didn't happen with Seinfeld. That's a miracle it didn't. But lately, I think we could all name a bunch of shows that didn't get really didn't get traction right away and then went away. So
I think we're also just kind of spoiled by how many great dramedies and dramas there are out there. And I think you're right, Mark. It's just lowest common denominator humor a lot of times. And I just don't want to waste my time watching it when there's so much other good stuff out there.
Well, I'm not sure that we've settled anything for certain sure, but except that these are 5 comedies to avoid this season. And hopefully this will turn around in some way, but I don't have a lot of hope for it. But then I do thank you both for joining this.
Thanks,
join
Mark.
us next week when I will be sitting out, but Christy Turnquist will be of The Oregonian and OregonLive.com will be joining the rotating crew, and I'm sure the discussion will be lively and entertaining, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thanks a
Mark.
lot.
Take care.